When my husband suggested that his mother temporarily move in with us after her hip surgery, I agreed, thinking it would be a short-term arrangement. "Just a couple of weeks," he said. "She won't be any trouble." But from day one, I should have trusted my gut. She criticized everything, from how I folded laundry to how I held my baby. "You millennials think you know everything," she'd mutter as she rearranged the pantry. I tried to stay respectful, especially for my husband. But things got worse. She would go into our bedroom without knocking. One day, I came home to find her going through my closet, just looking for something to wash, she claimed, but it felt like a violation. At meals, she'd talk over me and tell my husband how thin I looked and that I should eat more to be a good mother. Eventually, I found myself crying in the bathroom at night. I told my husband how I felt. At first, he tried to defend her. "She's just old-fashioned." But then, she crossed the line. One day, I overheard her on the phone with his sister. She called me lazy, spoiled, and said I was manipulating her son. I recorded part of the call and showed it to my husband. That was the turning point. He apologized. For the first time, he truly saw what I had been enduring. We had a hard but honest conversation. He agreed. She had to leave. He arranged for a nurse to visit her at her own home until she fully recovered. The day she left, she slammed the door and said, "You'll regret this." But honestly, we didn't. Peace returned, and for the first time in months, I slept through the night. In the days following her departure, the house felt quieter, lighter. My baby was calmer, and even our dog seemed more relaxed. We began settling into our rhythm again: early morning feedings, walks in the park, quiet dinners. It felt like we were finally becoming a family unit. But my mother-in-law wasn't done. First, she started calling every day, sometimes multiple times. "Put the baby on the phone. I want to hear his voice," she'd demand. I tried to be polite, I really did. But when I said the baby was sleeping, she'd sigh loudly and hang up. Then came the gifts: boxes of old baby clothes, toys, and even bottles we didn't ask for. I appreciated the thought, but we had our own plans. Then she began gossiping to the rest of the family. We started getting strange texts from cousins, aunts, even my husband's grandmother. It was clear she was painting me as the villain, the woman who took her son and keeps her grandchild from her. My husband, seeing the damage, finally agreed to speak with her. He called her one evening. It didn't go well. She screamed, cried, accused me of turning him against her. She even called me that night, left a voicemail saying I was a snake. It hurt, deeply. But also, it clarified everything. We began therapy, not because our marriage was falling apart, but because we wanted to build stronger boundaries. And it worked. Slowly, we found our voice. We learned to say no, to set rules, to protect our space. And though the wounds are still fresh, we know we made the right choice. Because peace, once broken, is worth fighting for. Weeks passed without contact from her. Then one afternoon, she showed up unannounced. My husband was at work. I was home alone with the baby. I opened the door and froze. She was standing there, holding a tray of food and smiling like nothing had happened. "I made your favorite soup," she said sweetly. I didn't know what to say. My heart was racing. "Can I come in?" "Just for a minute," she added, already stepping past me into the hallway. I didn't stop her. Maybe I was in shock. She placed the tray on the kitchen counter, then walked over to the crib where my son was napping. "He looks so peaceful," she whispered. I watched her carefully, unsure of what she wanted. Then, Without turning around, she said, I miss him. And I miss you too. I just didn't know how to fix things. I stayed quiet. I know I overstepped. I thought I was helping. I didn't realize I was pushing you away, she continued. For the first time, her voice didn't sound accusing or manipulative. It sounded tired, honest. I felt something shift inside me. Maybe pity, maybe understanding. But I still said nothing. I'm not asking to move back in, she said, turning to face me. Just a chance to visit, maybe once a week. Supervised, of course, on your terms. That surprised me. She was offering compromise. Before I could respond, my husband called. I put him on speaker. Your mom's here, I said simply. There was a pause. Then he asked to speak to her. She picked up the phone and walked to the other room. Their voices were low, but calm. When she came back, she looked at me and said, He thinks we should try. Start fresh. I nodded slowly. We'll see how it goes. That was 3 months ago. Since then, she's visited every Sunday. She brings snacks, plays with her grandson, and leaves before dinner. We still have boundaries. No unannounced visits. No undermining our parenting. And so far, she's respected them. We're not best friends, but we're civil. We're healing. The truth is, being a new mom is hard enough. Doing it with a hostile mother-in-law makes it nearly impossible. But if both sides are willing to learn, to grow, and to let go of pride, there's a chance. A fragile one, maybe, but still real. The peace didn't last forever. One Sunday, she showed up 15 minutes early. That wasn't the problem. The problem was, she brought someone. This is Aunt Sheila, she said, as if it were totally normal. She wanted to see the baby. I was caught off guard. Aunt Sheila? We'd never even heard of her visiting. My husband looked at me. I looked at him. We had an unspoken rule. No surprise guess. Nice to meet you, I said stiffly. I held the baby a little closer. Aunt Sheila was loud, energetic, and very handsy. She kept reaching out to touch the baby's face. Oh, he looks just like his daddy. She laughed, pinching his cheek. I gently redirected her hand. Please don't touch his face. He's still very young. Mil sighed dramatically. Everyone's so sensitive nowadays. My husband stepped in. Mom, we've talked about this. Rules are rules. Sheila is family. Mil protested. That's not the point, he replied calmly. You need to ask before bringing anyone. Always. Sheila stayed for half an hour. The visit was tense. After they left, I broke down. It's like she's testing us. Pushing boundaries every time, I told my husband. He nodded. I know. And it's not fair to you or the baby. That night, he called her. I heard him speak firmly but respectfully. He reminded her of our agreements. He said we needed space and trust. She cried. Said she felt like she was being pushed out. No, Mom. We're not pushing you out, but we're building our own family now. You need to let us lead. She didn't respond right away. A few days later, a card came in the mail. Handwritten. From her. I'm sorry for overstepping. I want to be a part of his life, but I'll respect your role as parents. Thank you for being patient with me. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. She visited the next week, on time, alone, and respectful. No more surprise guests, no more pushing, just quiet time with her grandson. Slowly, something changed. I began to feel, not peace exactly, but less guarded. Maybe it wasn't about winning. Maybe it was about protecting what we built. And maybe, just maybe, she was finally learning that too. Just when we thought the worst was behind us, life decided to throw one last curveball. It started with a text. Can I come by today? I bought some things for the baby. It sounded innocent, but I'd learned to read between the lines. My husband responded, "Sure, 4 p.m. works." She showed up at 3, with bags. I thought I'd come early and help organize. She beamed, already walking inside. Before we could say anything, she had opened the nursery closet and started pulling things out. "This doesn't go here. And why are there wipes with the blankets? Let me fix this mess." I froze. My husband stood there, torn between defending me and avoiding another blowout. "Mom," he finally said, "we didn't ask for help organizing. Please don't touch our things without asking." She turned to him, clearly offended. "I raised 7 kids. I think I know a thing or two." "I'm sure you do," he said. "But this isn't about who's right. It's about boundaries." She left within 20 minutes. Not a word, just a tight smile and a slammed door. That night, the silence between us was heavy. I was angry, not just at her, but at how it felt like this would never end. "I think we need to stop visits for a while," I told my husband. He nodded slowly. "I agree. This isn't working." The next day, he called her. I didn't listen in this time. I didn't want to. When he came back, he looked tired. "She said she's hurt and that we're shutting her out." "We're not," I said. "We're protecting our peace." We set a rule. 1 month, no visits. After that, only short visits, with both of us present. The first 2 weeks felt strange, quiet, a little guilty, but also freeing. We got into a rhythm, our own rhythm. Mornings were calm, nights were ours again. Then, something surprising happened. A message from her. "I realize I've been overbearing. I miss you all. When you're ready, I'd love to visit again, with respect." We didn't reply immediately. We let it sit. But something had changed. Maybe it was space. Maybe it was honesty. Maybe she was finally listening. A few weeks passed. We didn't hear much from her. No texts, no calls. It was peaceful. My husband and I started to feel normal again. Like we were finally reclaiming our home, our time, our energy. But peace doesn't last long in families like this. One Saturday afternoon, while we were out for groceries, we got a call from my sister-in-law. "Hey, I thought you should know. Mom is saying you're keeping the baby from her. She's telling people you banned her from your house." My stomach dropped. My husband's face turned pale. "What? We didn't ban her. We set boundaries." His sister sighed. "I know, but she's twisting things. She said you disrespected her, called her a bad mother, and said she's dangerous around the baby." That night, we sat in silence for a long time. We were exhausted, mentally, emotionally drained. "Do we respond?" I asked, "or just let her talk?" He stared at the ceiling. "If we defend ourselves, we're feeding the drama. If we say nothing, we look guilty." It felt like a no-win situation. Then, 2 days later, another message. "I think it's time I see the baby again. I'm the grandmother, and I have rights." My hands shook as I read it. I showed it to my husband. He exhaled deeply. "She's escalating." We knew what this meant. She was starting to talk about grandparent rights, something we'd only ever heard about in bitter custody battles. It felt like a threat. That evening, we sat down and wrote everything. Every incident, every message, every comment, just in case. My husband called his dad, the only calm voice in that side of the family. He explained everything. His dad was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "You're doing the right thing. She needs help, not a baby to control." It felt good to be validated. That weekend, we didn't go anywhere. We stayed home, locked the door, held our baby, and reminded ourselves, This is our family now, and we would protect it. It was Sunday morning when it happened. We were still in our pajamas, the baby was napping, and the house was finally quiet. Then, knock, knock, knock. My heart sank immediately. No one knocks like that unless they want something. Urgently, aggressively. My husband looked out the peephole and muttered, "It's her." My body went cold. We froze. Didn't open the door, just stood there. The baby stirred upstairs. Then came the yelling. Through the door, "I'm your mother. You can't ignore me. I have a right to see my grandchild. You can't keep her from me." I grabbed my phone and recorded everything, my hands shaking, but steady enough. My husband stepped back, face blank. "She's completely lost it," he whispered. After 5 solid minutes of pounding on the door and shouting, she finally left. I collapsed on the couch, emotionally drained. "We can't do this anymore," I said. "We have to protect our peace and our baby." My husband nodded slowly. "I'll call a lawyer tomorrow." That night, I cried. Not because I was scared, but because I was angry. So angry that someone could use family as an excuse to destroy another person's peace. Over the next few days, we consulted a family attorney. We needed advice, what our rights were, what we should document, how to protect ourselves legally if it escalated. The lawyer was clear. As long as there's no court order, she has no legal claim to your child. But keep documenting everything. It was reassuring, but also sad. We never wanted this. We wanted her to be part of our baby's life. But not like this. That weekend, we changed our locks. We bought a security camera. We even talked to our neighbors and let them know not to let her in if she showed up. Then we sent a message. Polite, firm, direct. We need space. You cannot come to our house uninvited. If you attempt to contact us aggressively again, we will pursue legal action. This is for our child's safety and well-being. She didn't respond, but silence never felt so loud. It had been 10 days since we sent the message. 10 days of silence, 10 days of peace. We thought it was over. We were wrong. It was a Tuesday afternoon. My husband had just left for the grocery store. I was home alone with the baby. Then I heard it. Banging. Not knocking. Not tapping. Banging. My blood ran cold. I grabbed my phone and crept to the front door, peeking through the peephole. It was her. Hair disheveled, wild eyes, lips moving fast. I couldn't hear through the door, but I knew she was yelling. I hit record on my phone again. I didn't say a word, just recorded. Then she did something I'll never forget. She took a key out of her purse, one she'd made months ago, secretly. She put it in the lock, tried to turn it. Thank God we had changed the locks. She screamed when it didn't work. "You changed the locks on me? I'm your family." I called 911, calmly, clearly. "There is a woman trying to break into my home. She's screaming, banging, trying to use a key. I have a baby in the house." The dispatcher stayed on the line. 2 minutes later, I heard sirens. When the police arrived, she was still yelling on the porch, now crying, screaming that we were ungrateful children. They pulled her aside. She fought them. I saw it with my own eyes. She shoved an officer. She was handcuffed, placed in the back of the car. My husband arrived just as they were closing the car door. His face was pale. He didn't say a word. After the police left, I broke down. "I didn't want this," I sobbed. "I never wanted any of this." My husband hugged me tightly. I know. But you were right. We should have stopped this earlier. The next day, we filed for a restraining order. It was granted. 200 feet, no contact. Any violation would mean arrest. We changed our routines, took different routes to work, told daycare everything. For the first time in months, I felt safe. Not happy, not whole, but safe. That was a start. 3 weeks had passed since the restraining order. We hadn't heard from her. No calls, no texts, not even a peep through the grapevine. Honestly, we thought she had finally gotten the message. That maybe, just maybe, she was seeking help. Then we got the letter. It came in a soft pink envelope. No return address, handwritten in her slanted cursive. My husband opened it cautiously. I sat beside him, heart thudding in my chest. It read, "Dear son and Dial, I'm so sorry. I've been a monster. I wasn't raised to understand boundaries, but that's no excuse. I miss you both, and the baby, terribly. I'm in therapy now. I just want a chance to fix this. Please meet me for coffee. Just 1 hour. I promise I won't make a scene." I didn't believe it. But my husband, he hesitated. "Maybe this is real," he said quietly. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met her in a public cafe, close to downtown. Neutral territory, cameras, witnesses. She looked different. Hair brushed, makeup minimal, wearing a cardigan, eyes puffy but calm. "I just want to talk," she said, voice trembling. We sat. She apologized. She cried. She spoke about her own childhood trauma. I softened, just a little. Then she dropped the bomb. "I filed a motion to dispute the restraining order," she said, wiping her tears. "I'm not trying to hurt you. I just want legal access to my grandchild." My blood turned to ice. "Excuse me?" I said, my voice low. "I talked to a lawyer," she continued. "Grandparents have rights in this state. I'm not asking for custody, just visitation." My husband stood up. This was a setup. She reached out, grabbing his sleeve. "Please, I didn't want to ambush you. I miss the baby. I miss being needed." "You're not the victim here," I snapped. "You broke into our house. You kissed our baby after being told not to. You've disrespected every boundary we set. And now you want the law on your side?" She started crying harder, drawing attention. I saw the glances from nearby tables. "Let's go," my husband muttered. We left. That night, we called our lawyer. "She's playing nice now, but she's preparing for court," the lawyer warned. We started collecting everything. Texts, recordings, even the video of her trying to unlock our door. The war wasn't over. It had only just begun. We thought the court would be the hardest part. But we were wrong. It started with a Facebook post. Harmless at first glance. Being a grandma is the greatest joy. But some people think love is dangerous. "I just miss my grandbaby." A dozen comments from her church friends popped up instantly. "You poor thing. Shame on those selfish kids. You raised 7 kids. You deserve respect." At first, we ignored it. Then came the second post, this time with a photo. An old picture of her holding our baby from that first forbidden visit. They said I was dangerous. I just wanted one kiss. "Look at his face. He loved me." That's when the messages started. From cousins, from old friends, even coworkers. "Is it true you're keeping your child from his grandma?" She looked so sad in that photo. Family is everything. "You'll regret this one day." My husband was livid. "She's making us the villains," he said. "She's manipulating everyone." The worst part? It worked. At the next court hearing, her lawyer presented screenshots. "Your Honor, she's clearly emotionally distressed. This isn't a woman being malicious. This is a grandmother being denied love." Our lawyer fought back. They have video evidence of her breaking into the home, ignoring safety guidelines, disrespecting boundaries. This is not about love. This is about control. But the emotional damage was done. Even my own aunt messaged me. Just let her see the baby. Life's short. What no one understood was the fear behind our decisions. The night she tried to unlock our door, I didn't sleep for 2 days. Every time I heard a knock, I jumped. But none of that made it into her sob story posts. We knew we had to fight back, but we had to do it smart. So we gathered every message, every video, every voicemail, and we filed a counter motion. If she wants a public battle, my husband said, she's going to get it. But this time, with the truth. It was like watching a tower of lies come crashing down. For weeks, my mother-in-law had painted herself as a heartbroken grandma, abandoned, rejected, victimized. She gained hundreds of followers. People sent her sympathy gifts. Some even started a GoFundMe until someone spoke up. It started with a comment on her latest post. "Weren't you the same woman who told her daughter she deserved to miscarry back in 2019? That comment came from her estranged oldest daughter. At first, people thought it was fake, until she posted screenshots, texts from MIL cursing her daughter for ruining the family name, voice notes of MIL screaming. People started to dig. Another woman came forward, a neighbor from years ago. She called Child Protective Services on me because I wouldn't let her babysit my toddler. Then another story. Mel once told my fiancé I was cheating just because I didn't invite her to my birthday. Her Facebook started bleeding followers. Comments turned from poor grandma to what a manipulative monster. She deleted all her posts within 24 hours, but the screenshots were everywhere. My husband was quiet when he saw it all. "I always knew something was off with her," he said, "but I never thought she'd implode like this." We finally had peace. No more phone calls, no more pressure. Even her lawyer stopped responding. But the damage she did to our trust, our sense of safety, still lingers. Some scars don't show on the skin, but they ache. We learned the hard way. Not every family member is safe just because they're family. And sometimes, cutting ties is the most loving thing you can do for your own family. I thought we were done with her. No more drama, no more games. But evil doesn't always leave quietly. A week after the social media storm, we got a letter. No return address. Inside was a printed note, typed. Cold, calculated. "I may have lost the public, but don't forget, I'm still your blood. You owe me respect." No signature. But we knew. My husband's face turned white. He didn't say a word, just tore it in half and threw it away. "She's trying to guilt trip us again," he muttered. For the first time, I saw him angry. Not sad, not frustrated, pure, righteous anger. She never wanted respect. She wanted control. That night, he blocked her number, reported her old social accounts, sent one final email: "Do not contact us again. We will involve legal counsel if needed." Then silence. Days turned into weeks. The baby laughed more. I slept better. The weight on my chest slowly lifted. We started therapy together to rebuild what she tried to break. One day in a session, the therapist asked, "What's the biggest thing you learned from this experience?" My husband squeezed my hand and said, "That love means protecting your peace, even from the people who gave you life." I cried. Because it was true. We don't choose our family, but we can choose our boundaries. And sometimes that's the bravest love of all.